Well, that was mildly disappointing. What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzly homer, Memphis X, and I talk hoops.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee.
Had the Memphis Grizzlies and Minnesota Timberwolves game one of the playoff series, and the Minnesota Timberwolves walked into Memphis and came out with a 130-117 victory against the good guys. And like I said, you never know what a playoff series is until you get into it. That's what I said in the preview, and that's probably where we're at right now. Now, the one thing that you did notice in that game is Minnesota shot the lights out. Now, that was a product of their good shooting. They have good shooters. That was a product of bad defense. The Grizzlies did have some bad defense, and it was just a product of some luck, a little bit of luck. But I won't chalk it up to all luck because Minnesota is a good team. They've been a good team for the last 3 months, and they came into Memphis with a game plan that worked and worked well, and they had their budding superstar, Anthony Edwards, look like the superstar that he's going to be in the future. Now, on the Memphis side, Memphis did not have a super good game plan at all, and I put that mostly on the coaches. Now, if you know anything about the history of this game, as far as these two teams, as far as the players of these two teams, you know Steven Adams has not been a good matchup against Karl-Anthony Towns at all. In the playoffs, not only in the playoffs, but I'm talking about in the regular season, he has not been a good matchup for Karl-Anthony Towns. And for the Grizzlies to sit there and watch the Clippers take out Cat, playing him against smaller guys, and then let him play 43 minutes, go 11 for 18 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point line, and 5 of 5 from the free throw line, have 13 rebounds, 3 assists, and only 3 turnovers, is kind of disappointing, or I guess you would say it was worrisome if you're looking at the coaching standpoint, because why the hell can't you just copy and paste, damn it? I mean, that would seem to be the easiest thing to do. Copy and paste. You know Ty Lue's a good coach. You know Ty Lue just faced the Minnesota Timberwolves, and you saw what worked against the Minnesota Timberwolves, so why not just copy and paste, damn it? It would seem that would be the easiest thing, but no. The Grizzlies were trying to play cat with Steven Adams, and Steven Adams got just eviscerated. Steven Adams had 0 shots, 0 free throws, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 fouls, and was a minus 13, which was the entire deficit of the game in 24 minutes. So, yeah, this thing went off the rails very fast, but it's fixable. And the reason why it's fixable is because Jaren Jackson only played 24 minutes because of some hellacious foul calls and some poor defense and some poor awareness on driving to the hoop. But he was 4-13 from the field, 0-5 from three-point line, 4-5 from the free throw line. He did have a Grizzlies record 7 blocks in only 24 minutes. So that bodes well. Also, the other positives on the floor for the Grizzlies were Brandon Clarke, Kyle Anderson, and Zaire Williams, who had a pretty good, 10 minutes. And Desmond Bane was even money on the game. So we kind of get where the improvement can come from. The problem was the first quarter of this game. That established the game flow, really. For some reason, Taylor Jenkins decided to play Steven Adams 10 straight minutes, even though Karl-Anthony Towns was killing him. Not only was Karl-Anthony Towns was killing him, but he was having the defense so discombobulated that it caused help people to have to go to help, gave open lanes to drivers because he wasn't quick enough to get to the rim. It just caused his presence alone just caused a lot of problems offensively and defensively because the Timberwolves were able to double off him, help off him at all, weren't really having to pay attention to him, and he didn't get any shots up. Like I said, and this is something that the Grizzlies haven't been in the playoffs for a while. So Grizzly fans are not going to like to hear this, but the regular season is not the postseason. Offensive and defensive liabilities are magnified in the postseason, especially as the series goes on, because whatever those liabilities are on offense and defense, a good coaching staff is going to take advantage of it. And Coach Finch is a good coach. If you remember, I don't know if you follow me at all on during the Grizzlies coaching search, he was the coach that I wanted for the Grizzlies because I didn't really know anything about Taylor Jenkins. But as far as the coaches that I knew about and had some information on, Coach Finch was the one I wanted for Memphis. So it's kind of ironic that he's the coach that the Grizzlies are facing in the first round of the playoffs, but I digress. Now, the thing about this game also was we're finding out what the problem is and what adjustments you have to make versus teams in the playoffs. Teams with players like, and I've been saying this, my whole doppelganger has been Luka Doncic. Big wings, power wings are very, very, very difficult to play in the playoffs. And I've said this all the time, and this has been my thing in the playoffs. The power wings, guys that are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", that play with power are very, very difficult to deal with in the playoffs, in isolation situations. They can hold up defensively against bigger players. It's just a whole problem that they present. Now, the problem for the Grizzlies when facing one of these guys is they have Ja Morant on the court. They have Desmond Bane on the court. They have Tyus Jones off the bench. And they have DeAnthony Melton off the bench. This is four guys in their top rotation that will be in a physical mismatch against these guys. And this has always been my issue. You have to limit the guys that are physical mismatches against these guys. And the reason for that is because eventually they're going to start setting up their offense to get switches on these guys. And they're going to switch on these guys and let them play one-on-one. It's the easiest thing to do in basketball. Now, as far as guys who are quick and other things like that, that's fine and dandy. Those things are cool, but it's the guys with power to go along with that quickness and ball handling ability that cause problems. And you saw Anthony Edwards in full display. Now, we have to admit his shot was just butter in that game. I'm not saying he's not capable of doing that for 7 games or an entire series, because he is quite capable of doing that. I'm saying I hope he doesn't do that in this series. Now, the wild card is Malik Beasley. Now, if you remember from the preview, I told you that Malik Beasley was going to have a game or two where he was just out of his mind shooting the ball. This was one of those games. Hopefully he doesn't have 2 more. Hopefully he doesn't have 3 more. Hopefully he doesn't have any more. But this was one of those games, and it's just nothing you can do. I mean, the Grizzlies could have been – the problem with the Grizzlies and Malik Beasley and the rest of the shooters on the Timberwolves is if you insist on playing Adams, you're going to have a hole in your rotation defensively. Somebody's going to be out of place because Adams is not going to rotate fast enough defensively. So when the ball moves and you have the swing, somebody's going to swing wide open. So this is what happened. Now, what are the fixes for this game? Because if you look, the Grizzlies actually didn't play poorly. Now, usually I'm very upset after losses. I get pissed off. You know, like I said, I am the friendly I am the friendly neighborhood Grizzlies homer, and I have no qualms about saying that I get pissed off when they lose. Now, this game, I was kind of indifferent towards the loss because, well, it didn't feel like the Grizzlies really got dominated. The Grizzlies got beat handedly, but they didn't get dominated, and the problems were not fatal. You know, there were no fatal flaws that I saw in this game. There were a lot of things that were fixable, a lot of things that changed. Now, the refereeing, that's something we'll talk about. But, I mean, you just got to look at this.
Not have a turnover after having 11 in the second quarter.
So when you have refereeing, when Jaren Jackson is getting ref like this, he gets an offensive foul after basically getting tossed out of post position in front of the referee. Well, let's just say the referees were kind of iffy in this game. Now you'll look and you'll see, hey, the Grizzlies had such a free throw advantage. The Grizzlies are going to have a free throw advantage every game. And the reason why the Grizzlies are going to have a free throw advantage is because the Timberwolves shoot a lot of jump shots and the Timberwolves foul a lot. So the Grizzlies with Ja Morant as their best player are going to attack the hoop a lot. So yeah, the Grizzlies were attacking the hoop. They were getting to the line. Ja Morant got what? I mean, you got to just look at it. Ja Morant got by himself 20 free throw attempts, and Dillon Brooks got 10. So yeah, those guys were aggressively driving to the court. But let me tell you, if you watch that game, the refs didn't call nearly enough. The Timberwolves reverted back to the old grit and grind day principle of the refs won't call every foul. And they fouled on just about every drive with hand checks, all this kind of stuff. Now, they did this and they got away with it. And I just say salute to them because the fouls were not egregious, I would say. They weren't, I mean, some of the stuff Jaden McDaniels was doing, pushing people and stuff like that were egregious and weren't getting called. But the fouls otherwise were not egregious. So it was one of those things where, you just chalk it up that you had a bad ref crew or the ref crew just allowed, certain things to go one-on-one. But these things were kind of obvious. As you saw in that play, there were plenty of other plays. A lot of 50-50 calls went to Minnesota. But like I said, even though the free throw disparity was high, the Grizzlies shot 43 free throws and the Timberwolves shot 27. It should have been worse. And I'll just say that because the Timberwolves shot a lot of jump shots. They made a lot of jump shots. But the Grizzlies were in the paint almost the whole game, and they were not getting the calls. So we'll see how it goes Tuesday in the next game, but I expect that to flip, and I expect the results to flip. Also, I expect the Grizzlies to win by double digits. It is really a do-or-die game. Getting down 2-0 as a home team, woo-wee. That would be kind of, like I said to start this, mildly disappointing to start the playoffs and mildly disappointing result for the season that the Grizzlies had this year. So hopefully I expect to be much better. It was good to see Ja Morant have sort of a okay game, 8 of 18, 16 of 20 from the free throw line. But the problem is the Grizzlies only made 7 3-pointers and the Timberwolves bench made 7 3-pointers. So you can't let their bench scores have the same amount of 3-pointers as your team and expect to win in the modern NBA. The math just won't be mathing. And that's just the way it is. Congratulations to the Timberwolves. GG. Good game. See you guys Tuesday. Remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with other NBA fans around the globe. This is Memphis X, and I am out.